死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに人が多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君はまだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ万歳ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランドトゥライドまで
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界季節いけるかな。昔グレートだった大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そう言い放せるで。
Hello, everyone. Welcome into CobraCast 199. I'm still like my head's reeling right now because it's spinning because of the passing of Kyle Busch right now. So I'm completely not prepared for this show because I am. If for those that don't know, NASCAR driver Kyle Busch at the age of 41 suddenly just died today, and I have no idea what the hell's going on. 41 years old, a husband and a father, and he won a race last week, and he just was announced that he died. Crazy. I am blown away by this, that this happened. He was put in the hospital a little bit earlier for a severe sinus infection or something like that, but there's a lot going on to it. But I wanted to start the show out. Kyle, this was the last post he made on Instagram 3 days ago, wishing his son a happy birthday. His son is also a racer, and he's dead. He's just dead. This makes no sense to me at all. Obviously, I follow NASCAR, and I've loved Kyle Busch for years. I think Kyle Busch is one of the most talented race car drivers to ever live. And his son is probably going to be a pretty big time racer into the future, but this is crazy. He literally won a race last week. And obviously people are playing that clip of him right here. This was just last week when Kyle Busch won his 69th NASCAR Truck Series race. He was asked why these wins never get old, and he says, because you never know when the last one is. Today, he died at 41.
Kyle Busch, your 69th victory in this series, your 5th right here. Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is, you know. So I know all too well, unfortunately, with
this is a week ago.
The Cup stuff, but here with the truck stuff right now is it's awesome just to be a part of Spire Motorsports. Thanks to Jeff and Dan and Mr. H for the opportunity. HendrickCars.com. I'm sure it looked great out front leading the race, and it wasn't just Kyle Larson doing it. So feels good to have another Kyle being able to do it and putting ourselves in victory lane. So love coming to Dover. Always one of my favorite places to race.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, man, that is absolutely crazy. So rest in peace to Kyle Busch. Prayers out to his family. Incredible. I just never expected this. When I saw it, I was completely blown away by it, and I'm still just completely confused. Right here, Steve Lookner tweeted this out. So during a cup race on May 10th at Watkins Glen, Busch radioed into his crew requesting medical aid from Dr. Bill Heisel and a shot after the race. According to the TV broadcast, Busch had been struggling with a sinus cold that was exacerbated by intense G-forces and elevation changes at the upstate New York road course. So this is right here. This is the radio communication.
Kyle Busch has been suffering from a sinus cold all week. Lost 5 spots on that pit stop. He has asked to have medical attention available after the race. Here's his radio.
And can somebody try to find Bill Heisel? He's the Hendrick doctor guy. Tell him I need him after the race, please. Hey, do you want Mr. Bill at your car or at your bus after the race? Bus. I'm going to need a shot. Copy. He'll be at your bus.
Gonna need a shot. I guess that doctor is going to be questioned now about what the hell that was all about. But yeah, anyway, not a typical CobraCast topic, but yeah, man, I mean, I'm a, longtime NASCAR fan. Greg Biffle tragically passed away earlier this year, him and his entire family with a plane crash. Obviously, the biggest death in NASCAR history is Dale Earnhardt. I watched that race live. And now Kyle Busch at the age of 41, who's driving for Richard Childress Racing, which is also who Dale Earnhardt was driving for. Absolutely crazy. We'll get more information, I'm sure, but I am just blown away by all of this. But thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Pre-stream tax. Mar Millen says pre-stream chat, Griff tax, hail the 199. Thank you. R.I.P. Kyle Busch. Thank you. R.I.P. Kyle Busch again. Thune needs to go. GOP keeps effing up. Tree Bear says no YouTube notification tax. Heath Nation says rest in peace to Rowdy Kyle Busch, an absolute menace turned legend on the track. Go easy on the legends in that golden sky, or that golden track in the sky. Yeah, I mean, to me, Busch is one of the greatest, most talented race car drivers to ever live. It's absolutely, the dude was insanely talented, man. He really was. Gay Carpenter says, whenever I need a laugh, I read the messages on old CobraCast vids. The brave crawl out like roaches to attack the 199. Rantopia says, oh, I missed that. Kyle Busch passed. Yes, at age 41, Kyle Busch has passed away with some type of severe illness that he came down with, quickly. Holy crap. Slain Hope says, hail the 199, hail the Snake Pit, and hail good Jeremy. Thank you. A bridge too far says Psalm 90:12. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ort says updated Beardo meme tax. So now he's fat and bald Beardo. Marc-Andre Royce says removed by moderator. Shout out to Kick Chat. That was very funny last night. We were live on Kick. It was a lot of fun. But also today, I guess, unfortunately, I did see The Mandalorian in Grogu. It's bad. It is a very, very bad movie. And I'll have a review up on, on Geeks and Gamers here very soon, actually. And I do have it posted over to Criticalist as well. I got to read this, though. Dale Earnhardt Jr. just tweeted out, Kyle and I had a really challenging existence for many years, but we luckily took that time to figure out our differences. And that was something he instigated with the conversation and his bus. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch definitely were at odds when Dale Jr. was still racing. That was a heated rivalry right there. And they did actually become friends later on in life. There he is. Kyle was one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history. No one can deny that. But he was also a father, a husband, brother, son, and a friend to me. My heart is broken for the Busch family. I will never be able to make sense of this loss, but I am thankful that we had found a way to become friends. That is just insane. But yeah, going back to The Mandalorian and Grogu, holy crap. Look, man, I was so bored out of my mind during this movie. I just wanted to get back on an airplane. I was just like, just put me back on an airplane. It'll be more entertaining than watching this dog shit. I do have my review on Criticalist right here, and I gave it a 25% because that's really all it deserved was a 25%. Where's my review at? Right here. Let's see. Right there. After 7 years, this is all Disney could come up with after 7 years. After 7 years, this is all Disney has to bring Star Wars back to the big screen. Pathetic, but completely expected. It's boring as fuck and pointless. It has no reason to exist other than to prove, once again, that Disney Star Wars is completely dead. It's just random quests and attempts to give Baby Yoda cute moments for social media reactions. Fuck this movie. And that's really what it's all about. This movie is awful. I cannot believe how bad this movie is. It's unbelievable. So we will talk more about that on the Geeks and Gamers side of things. But in terms of the political stuff, this is going to be a shorter show because I am traveling to Savannah for our meetup here very soon. So this will be a little bit shorter show, but there's a couple things I want to go over. But the Kyle Busch stuff just really did throw me off on anything that I was looking to talk about. But I saw this right here, and I don't really know what this was. So I'm going to pull this video up. It might be clickbait from Fox News, but it says bombshell report on 2024 election released. Is this clickbait? I don't know.
And waiting for this, the DNC finally releasing its autopsy report on the 2024 presidential election. DNC Chair Ken Martin writing, "I am not proud of this product. It does not meet my standards, and it won't meet your standards. I don't endorse what's in this report or what's left out of it." Shannon Bream is
Well, that's an interesting thing for someone to say to get ahead of it.
the anchor of Fox News Sunday. She joins us now. So this just happened. Why do you think he thinks that it does? Well, do you know why it doesn't meet his standards or why he thinks people will be disappointed?
Well, we're going through what CNN says is this report. We haven't verified it independently, but it's got all kinds of notations on it that are apparently the DNC's objections or questions that it had. And Ken Martin says he initially didn't release this after he had commissioned it because there wasn't source material. They felt there were issues with it and they wanted to see more, pull more together before they'd release it. And then he said, after we had, some success in these special elections and other things, I didn't want to release it because I thought it would be a distraction. Then I realized it was a distraction not releasing it. So CNN says it's gotten its hands on this thing and what they're purporting that it is. It talks about a lot of different things in here. They say Democrats have lost ground at every level from inconsistent messaging and improper plan.
This to me sounds like they're trying to push Kamala out. They think that Kamala is going to run again, and they know that that would be an absolute disaster. Okay. So I think that they are trying to do everything they can to make sure Kamala Harris does not run again. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if she runs again. She's not going to make it through the primaries. Nobody's going to vote for this dumb bitch. She's incredibly unpopular.
They talk about funding and not equipping their state parties. And, the document I'm looking at goes on a deep dive through a number of state races, down to the attorney general level, and looking at where things matched and didn't match with messaging and voting. And they said, in some of these cases that you couldn't just have a message that we're anti-Trump. We hate President Trump, or he's not good for us. He's not.
Oh, that's all the Democrats have. And that's all they will continue to have. So just keep that in mind. That's the only message the Democrats have. And to be fair, they're unified in that. So credit where credit's due.
Good for the country. You have to have your own independent messaging. So it's nearly 200 pages. We're starting to dig through it and would like to independently verify it ourselves as well.
There's going to be a lot of reaction. David Axelrod's already out there. He called this a needless waste of time, given the current challenges Democrats.
Oh, David Axelrod, former Obama guy. You think so? The former Obama guy says this is a waste of time. Well, that has a ton of credibility right there. I definitely believe David fucking Axelrod. Okay.
That's face. I think Ken Martin kind of put his finger on it. By not releasing, he drew a lot more attention to it, Shannon.
Yeah. And people want to know, okay, were there, secret hidden smoking guns in here that pointed fingers at certain people or candidates or funders, or, what was it there that you didn't want people to see? And would it be more beneficial to just use it internally for the party to make some corrections on its own? But again, my quick review of these 200 pages purported to be that report show all kinds of deep dives into where messaging worked, where it didn't. And there seems to be an acknowledgement that there were times that it was about the candidates, that the policies themselves tested well, or ballot measures that were about specific policies.
Dude, look at these two clowns that represent your party. This is who represents the Democrats. Nothing will change that because we remember, okay? Simple as that. In fact, let's see if I can find it. I've pulled it up before, but I've got to see how. I can't remember what the actual language is. Let's see here. Was it? I think it was like it was a meme of Joe Biden and Kamala, and it's one of the greatest memes of all time. If I can find, here it is right here. And this is we're never going to forget this, Democrats. Okay, we're never going to forget it right here. This is you. Okay, this is your party, and we will never forget that. And this is one of the greatest memes of all time, by the way. Like, this is a great meme. Whoever made this meme, legend, okay? One of the greatest memes ever created in the history of memes. And that's a big statement right there, but it's a true statement. This is the Democratic Party, okay?
That aligned with Democrats did pass and did do well, but the candidates didn't perform as well in those districts and states as well. So it seems like there's a lot to chew on. But again, there are a lot of notes on there in red that are purportedly from DNC staffers or their interests saying, hey, we need more information. This doesn't meet our standard. What's the sourcing for this? So it's clear that they felt as...
Dude, look at Biden right there. He has no idea where he's at. He doesn't know what's going on.
This doesn't meet our standard. What's the sourcing for this? So it's clear that they felt, as Chairman Martin is saying, it doesn't meet prime time. It's not ready for release, and I'm sure he's going to feel that way about this document if it turns out to be the real thing.
I wonder if Martin's in trouble. We'll find out about that. We got another story for you. Go ahead.
Well, we don't have much time, but the mayor in Seattle, she is trying to walk back some comments. This is what she said originally about Starbucks.
I could not be prouder to stand here with Starbucks baristas in solidarity today. I'm asking everyone who believes in fairness, dignity, and workers' rights to stand with us on this picket line. I am not buying Starbucks, and you should not either.
That's one of their proudest companies. It's a big...
That's a forehead that would get Ryan Kennel jealous right there. That is a forehead that, man, you could play a whole entire football game on that thing.
Everyone who believes in fairness, dignity, and workers' rights to stand with us on this picket line. I am not buying Starbucks, and you should not either.
That's one of their proudest companies. It's a big employer. Then she said this to the New York Times. Those comments were not productive in the sense that they caused more harm than good. I want them here, and I believe they want to be here. She's talking about Starbucks.
You're kidding me. A Democratic woman is emotionally unstable, and she lashes out at companies that are based in her area, and now she has to walk it back. Oh, so crazy. Would have never imagined that would happen.
Starbucks there. The billionaires are starting to fight back a little bit, including Starbucks.
Yeah, and the CEO has moved to Florida. And the latest expansion we've seen for Starbucks was in Nashville, Tennessee. So they're going to states that are much more regulatory and tax friendly for them and their businesses. And there's polling out there that shows that even in liberal states and cities, people feel like it's not good for them when corporations or, wealthy individuals leave because of regulatory or tax policy. They realize that's going to impact their communities and their tax base, which funds schools and police departments and all those things. So she's taken a lot of backlash. And I think you can say a lot of things during campaigning, but obviously when you get in office, you meet different realities.
Okay. All right. Good luck on Fox News Sunday. Normally we do this on...
She looks like a crazy liberal woman, which, doesn't surprise anybody. Now, President Trump is continuing to double down, triple down, whatever you want to say. But here we go. So, there's a lot going on with the Iran situation right now. President Trump is playing hardball with them. There are some rumors or there's some conversation that we could be getting some big news tomorrow. But we don't know for sure. So we're monitoring the situation, as the meme says. Okay.
President Trump taking next steps and weighing what will come next in dealing with Iran, as his next move may be critical both abroad and at home. Retired Vice Admiral Mark Fox joins us in moments. But first, let's get to our White House correspondent, Aisha Hasni. She's got the latest from the White House for us. Hello, Aisha.
Great personality, by the way.
Hi, Sandra. A pretty significant development today. The president knocking down reports out there that Iran's supreme leader is demanding that the enriched uranium in that country stay in that country as part of any sort of a nuclear agreement. That would have complicated these talks by a lot. It would have also ticked off Israel, which does not want to see that happen. But the president today putting those.
Oh, we got it. We got the word in Israel. Boom, boom, boom. People in the chat are going to start freaking out, spurging, screaming, screeching.
Pushing back on those reports and saying it is not true. Watch.
Can they keep their highly enriched uranium?
No, we get the highly enriched. We will get it. We don't need it. We don't want it. We'll probably destroy it after we get it, but we're not going to let them have it.
We're not going to let them have it. That's what he says. Meantime, Pakistan's interior minister arrived in Tehran again yesterday to continue talks with the president of Iran. Axios is reporting that Qatar and other regional allies have been sort of going back and refining the peace
Qatar, everyone, not Qatar, Qatar.
Proposal to bridge any remaining gaps between Tehran and Washington, really hammering out commitments from the Iranians on that nuclear program, and also working out how this administration might unfreeze Iranian funding in return. Meanwhile, Israel is pushing back on reports that Trump held a serious and dramatic phone call with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week, who'd rather continue strikes. President Trump says Netanyahu will do whatever he wants him to do. And new Fox polling out shows how Americans are feeling about this war. 60% oppose military action against Iran. That's slightly up from April, while 58% of respondents say the cost of living is now their top economic worry as of right now, as the average price of gas, Sandra, hits over $4 in every single state now across the country ahead of this Memorial Day holiday weekend.
Yep, as
Sandra?
everybody fills up to make their road trip.
The gas prices have got to get under control. The gas prices are out of control all over this country. That is something that will affect the midterms. There is no way to spin that. That will hurt the midterms if Trump does not get that shit under control. Like, there is no argument there to be had. That is something that will transcend people's opinion of Trump or whatever. It absolutely will. So, by the way, was that just now? Hang on. Let's see. I'm looking at, was that now, Dougie B? Did you just send that? The Kick Chat just does a run on, so I think that's a new one. Double checking. Did Dougie B just drop 10,000 kicks? He just dropped 10,000 kicks. Holy shit. He says, just got back from getting my steps in for the day, swigging some water and watching some Fig on TV. The only argument is and it cut off. Let's see. The only argument I have about Kick is that buying 10,000 kicks on the mobile app is $45 more than on browser. Yikes. Hail the snake pit. Hail the 199 LFG. Pre-dawn corpse with 12 kicks with the hell yeah, a hype. Holy crap, man. And then Dougie B just dropped 50 gifted memberships on Kick. Dougie B just dropped 50 gifted memberships on Kick, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let me see right here. I'm going to share my screen. Look at that. Look at all them. Look at all those gifted memberships flying in right now. I'm trying to get the Kick Chat working, but Kick Chat's going crazy over there. So yeah, holy crap. Let's freaking go. Dougie freaking B with 10,000 kicks and 50 gifted memberships on Kick. Bam. Let's freaking go. Whoa, buddy. Are there 50 people even watching Kick? Not at the moment. There's 46. We need to at least get to 47, okay? That is wild. Hail to you. Hey, Rumble chat, y'all got to step it up, man. You got the YouTube chat crushing it. You got the Kick Chat. Where you at, Rumble? We got Rumble Wallet going on over there. Come on, man. This hurts my brain. Dude, it's been fun over there on Kick. it's been pretty wild to like last night we did the gaming stream over there and everybody was going crazy. It was pretty hilarious. So anyway, thank you, Doug, you mad lad. You, let me get that clipped out and there we go. Okay. Let's see. Is it third JRH says life is short. Don't waste it. Each day is a gift. That's very, very, on point right now with everything going on. Again, I talked about it at the beginning of the show, but NASCAR driver, NASCAR legend Kyle Busch passed away at the age of 41 today. I'm completely in shock by it. I was not expecting it, and I don't really understand it. But at 41 years old, he won a truck race last weekend, and here he is today. He got put in the hospital earlier today with I think they said it was an illness is what they said. And a few hours later at 41, dead. And this is the last post that he made on his Instagram 3 days ago, wishing his son a happy birthday. I am completely heartbroken by this, man. I was a Kyle Busch fan. I think Kyle Busch is one of the most talented race car drivers to ever live. Especially if you go back to the peak with Kyle Busch. Like, there's few people in history that could drive as good as Kyle Busch at his peak. Definitely would put him in the Earnhardt and, the Cale Yarboroughs and, Tony Stewart's, Jeff Gordon's. I mean, he was up there. Absolutely. 41 years old and left a family behind, a son that races. And it's just really weird to, I don't know what the details are. No one really knows what the details are, but it's just shocking. Taker says, Jeremy, would you give Mando and Grogu one portly? It's ma'am airplane lavatory fart cloud out of 5. That's a lot of information, Taker. That was a lot. 2012 Jameson says, AOC united the SEC by saying North invade South. Ron Sappington says, I live near Seattle. This woman is crazy. So is our governor. Ministry of Wrong Things says, this is what I was telling you about weeks ago. Ministry of Wrong Things always yelling at me. I don't know why. What did I do? There is this clip right here that I think is very interesting because say what you want about Bill O'Reilly. I like Bill O'Reilly's, coverage of things. I think Bill O'Reilly is really on point. He knows Trump. And right here, Bill O'Reilly says Trump didn't believe the Iran situation would spiral like it has. That's going to be an interesting take because O'Reilly talks to Trump a lot. So I do like, I've been watching O'Reilly since, the O'Reilly Factor. I know a lot of people, every time I react to O'Reilly, they're like, wait, he's still alive? Yes, Bill is still alive. Dougie B. Says, where's our Sydney? You know what, Doug? You are correct. I apologize. First, we're going to bring red dress Sydney Sweeney out because people seem to like red dress Sydney Sweeney. Okay. They seem to like that. All right. Now, also, I got to say, all right, because I respect the chat. Okay. Because I respect the chat. And sometimes YouTube recommendations are annoying. Sometimes. And then sometimes they're really good. Okay? Sometimes they're really good. So I'm going to show you one of the good, and this is for Dougie B and the 50 gifted memberships, okay? Sometimes the recommendations are awesome, okay? So right here, okay? This hit my recommendations last night. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna swimsuit show reel. Okay. What do you say to that? This is insane, man. What the hell is happening? She can be my president, somebody said. I'm watching. Yes, chat's very much paying attention now. You can thank Dougie B for this. Man, that is insane, dude. Okay, like what the heck are we doing? Anyway, I'm going to lose focus if we don't stop watching that. But Doug B for 5,000 kicks. He says that's worth another 5. Yes, it is. Luna 2028. This is what happens, though. Okay? This is what happens. Okay? And I'm going to call it out now. Okay? This is how we get in trouble. Don't fall for it. We can't have a woman president. Don't fall for this shit. Because if she runs looking like that, I'm going to vote for her. And I know it's a bad decision. It's a terrible decision. It's an absolutely, but this is what happens. This is what happens with men. So we go, you know what? It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Anyway, all right, let's go back to this video right here with Bill O'Reilly. Let's hear this.
Big man, how are you understanding this latest proposition from the Trump administration?
Well, I think it is more like Venezuela than you think. So I don't think the United States is going to go in there shooting it out. And the reason that Venezuela was relatively successful and easy was we had made deals with the...
Thank you, Tonberry Masta. I think everybody agrees. Dougie B is continuing to drop gifted memberships on Kick. Holy shit.
Generals. And I suspect those deals have been made with the Cuban people, too. People, you know, who run the armed forces, but I could be wrong. So I believe that you made a mistake when you said that Iran's not a nuclear threat. It is. And I believe that.
Is Bill okay? He's okay, but he's older. I mean, I don't know how old Bill O'Reilly is, but it is shocking for people that haven't seen Bill in a long time. Now you see him, and he is definitely not the same Bill O'Reilly that you remember from back during the O'Reilly Factor days, but he's fine.
Evidence is overwhelming, but Cuba isn't. And Raul Castro deserves what he gets. We all know that. They've been running
Yes, Bill O'Reilly is older than Gary.
Narcotics through there since 1962. And they're murderers, they're killers. But I can understand a point of view as, okay, look, we have all of this problem in the Gulf with Iran. We don't know how this is going to work out. Why do we need to do this on Wednesday? You know, can't we wait till June? I understand the question. It should be answered by Hegseth, Secretary of War, but what are you going to do? That just puts it into the, we'd like to, an answer.
Somebody said in the chat, and you're right. Cuomo looking like a douchebag as always. Seriously, like if you were to, I know this is a joke that's been said many, many times, but like if you were to look up the in the dictionary a picture of a douchebag, it would literally be Cuomo. Like look at him. He is the definitive douchebag. This is who he is.
Answer to this question, Mr. President. It's a legitimate question.
What's next, Congo?
I don't think so, because Ebola. But there's a lot of minerals in Congo. No nonstop flights, Cuomo. That's the problem with the Congo. It's tough to invade there. You got to stop 4 or 5 times before you get there.
I like Cuomo could play like Cuomo should play that. What was that episode of Friends where Jennifer Aniston, she like ran into this popular guy from high school, and like she thought he was like all successful because he was popular in high school, and he like turned out that he worked part-time at a movie theater, but he was still like living that cool, you know, like I'm still cool, but like she finds out like he's hanging out with his friends on Friday night. That's Cuomo. Cuomo is that guy. Chip, that's it. Yes, his name was Chip. He still had the motorcycle. He had the same fucking motorcycle. That's Cuomo right there. Same theater and everything.
It doesn't strike you as curious that not a single member of this puppet administration's intelligence apparatus has come forward with any kind of suggestion that the regime in Iran was weeks away from having a nuclear weapon? Not a single word. Doesn't strike you as curious?
No, because I interviewed, as we spoke on this program, the weapons inspectors out of Austria, and I did interview some U.S. intel people, all of whom say that the enrichment of uranium was going full bore. And yeah, you can say 3 weeks or 8 weeks, but the intent is there from Iran. They don't want to give up whatever nuclear stuff they're doing.
So I'm wanting to hear what this, where he's, because this is interesting insight. If we get, so Trump didn't believe the Iran situation would spiral like it has. That is going to be, that's the interesting part. Trump is never going to tell you this, by the way. Not that he should, because Donald Trump truly believes that you never show weakness, which is a great, great mindset for somebody like him to have. Also, especially with the way that the media treats him, where they spin every single thing to a negative way, you can never show weakness. But hearing Bill O'Reilly talk about this from his perspective as somebody that talks to Trump, that is the interesting aspect. And Dougie B is continuing to drop gifties over on Kick. Holy shit, Doug.
If they weren't doing anything, they'd let the inspectors in, and all this would go away for them, right?
Yeah, that's why you had the JCPOA.
It would only hurt him, correct?
Well, look, whatever initials you want to use, they won't allow any weapons inspectors in to see what they are doing. I do trust U.S. intelligence. I don't think it's a compromised outfit as some political outfits are. I could be wrong. I was wrong about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And the reason I was wrong was because Saddam Hussein told his own generals he had them. And then those generals leaked it to the New York Times and put it on page 1.
I actually remember, and again, I'm a little fuzzy on this, but like, how long after 9/11 did it take to get bin Laden? How many years after was it? I'm sure the chat will be able to tell me really quickly, but it was several years, obviously. How long after was it that we finally got bin Laden? Is it 10 years? Is that what it was? 10? Because like I remember watching Bill O'Reilly when that happened. Not when we got him, but like when 9/11 happened, shortly after. Okay. I remember watching O'Reilly, and O'Reilly was like, well, bin Laden's done. We're going to have him in 3 months. He's a dead man. I've never forgotten that, where he just said that, like, we're going to have this guy in 3 months. He's a dead man walking. Yeah. Well, it took a little bit longer than those 3 months, but you know, he's admitting he was wrong about, you know, weapons of mass destruction and all that too.
And well, I bought it.
That's not what happened.
Of course, that's what happened.
The Bush administration, the Bush administration lied about there being yellow cake uranium and there being weapons of mass destruction.
I don't know about
and
yellow.
That's how it started. It didn't come through the New York Times. It came through the Bush administration.
If you go back,
Mr. Fair Broker,
and this is easy for you to do, it was on page 1 of the New York Times.
I'm sure it was.
They had weapons of mass destruction, and it ruined a person you know, his career. The reporter who wrote it.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware what happened. Also ruined.
Dude, Cuomo is distractingly douchebaggy. Like, it's so annoying to even listen and look at this clown. It's driving me crazy. Like, and again, this is just, I'm doing this for the memes. Okay. So actually, you know what? I'm not going to say it myself because I'll get in trouble if I do it. Okay. So hang on. I'll let somebody else say it so that way I can't get in trouble. Let's see. I got to let somebody else say it. This right here. Is this it? There's a scene in Step Brothers I'm trying to find. Is this it? No, that's not it. Where he talks about, again, I don't want to say it because then I get busted for saying it. Fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. We've seen his stepbrothers, I think his stepbrothers, where he's telling him, he's like, I want to punch you in the face. He's like, is there anything I can do about that? And no, that is Cuomo. He has a memeable, punchable face, okay? In a meme way. I'm not threatening violence, YouTube, or anything like that. Okay. It's just boom. No, not the treehouse. It's when he's in the office with him, when he goes to work for Derek. Briefly. That's the scene I'm talking about. But I can't find it right now. Oh, I know this is the one you guys are talking about, though.
No, I'm never going to work for you. Fine, I don't care. Truth is, I just smoked a J out in my car a few minutes ago, so feeling a little spacey. What's up with you, man? What you looking at, Kimasabi? You want to punch me right now? You want to punch me right now, but you won't. You want to punch me too, Brennan? You guys both look like you might.
This is Cuomo. It was Rob Riggle. That's what it was. But this is Cuomo right here. And yes, it is an all-time great movie. This is one of the greatest comedies ever made.
Might want to hit me in the face. You do. I can tell. Well, why don't you do it? Why don't you punch me in the face? Punch me in the fucking face. Oh, shit. No, my shoulder. That was awesome. Job.
And he was yelling, wasn't he saying, Mom! Mom! Oh, man. Such great. That's Cuomo right there, though. BMCCB says Rumble's UI is gayer than Bad Jer, and your Streamlabs tip option goes to Twitch. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, there's some kind of issue with the Streamlabs Twitch option. So, listen, I think that I'm going to stream to Rumble. I'm going to stream to Kick. I'm going to stream to YouTube. Wherever people want to support, they have that option. I have, a couple times I've moved away from these other platforms, but my goal is to make sure that even if there's just like 50 people that want to support on a platform, I want to give you the option to support there. And I appreciate it wherever you are. I see the Rumble chat right now, and I appreciate everybody being over there. John 5 just dropped 5 more gifted memberships on Kick. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Because every word I said is true. Go ahead.
You think every word you say
I
is
can
true,
prove
and
it.
that's okay.
Homo, you want to put 10 grand on it now? I'll prove it.
Yes, I'll tell you what. I'll put $100,000 on this proposition that the idea that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction did not start with the New York Times. It started with the Bush administration, and that's why Colin Powell wound up losing his career when he very well.
We need to create, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on something. I'm going to get with Krista, and we're going to work on some emojis specific for the platform. So you know how we have the snake pit on YouTube, okay? But we're going to create like break off versions of the snake pit for Rumble and Kick. You remember how NWO had NWO Wolfpack? You know what I mean? So you're going to have like the NWO, but then you can have NWO Wolfpack. We're going to do that with snake pit. All right. We're going to work that out.
Could have been a superior president of the United States
because
they made it up. They ruined
Saddam
intelligence
Hussein.
careers and they lied.
It started
Look,
with
he may have been saying it, but to blame the New York Times for what the Bush administration did, no. It started with Saddam. I'll give you that. But that's not what we're talking about. And also it doesn't matter because it never ends, Bill. We're doing it right now with what's happening in Iran. And I would bet my left eye that if they do something in Cuba, there will also be something we didn't know that they had brewing, that it had to happen right now. And I think the American people are about to show.
Let me ask a question. Is Cuomo still with Valuetainment? Because I asked this question several months ago because I haven't seen him on Valuetainment. And somebody said he still does occasionally work with them, but I haven't seen the guy over there in forever. So I'm curious if he actually is, because what's interesting is when Patrick Bet-David hired him, he faced an avalanche of negativity. Like, it was insane how bad it was. And he basically dismissed that as like, I'm building something you guys don't understand, yada, yada, yada. And I think that it backfired on, again, I'm not saying that Valuetainment isn't successful, but I think that bringing Cuomo in would be the equivalent of bringing the quartering in to your YouTube channel. It's nothing's going to come. Nothing good will come from that. All right. Nothing.
The midterms.
And by the way, can I ask a question of all of the quartering A-loggers, please? This is a very, very this is a heartfelt request. Okay. Do you mind? I don't know if we have any quartering A-loggers in the chat right now. First of all, you are the real MVPs. Okay. 100%. Can you all just do me a favor? And this is just a very this is a heartfelt request. Okay. Whenever you're clipping the quartering, if Melanie Mack is on, can you just mute whenever she talks? Because it's so bad. I never realized. You ever realize, you ever really find out how bad something was when you weren't involved with it anymore? I can't believe that I ever dealt with that voice on a stream of mine. Oh my God. It is the single. And first of all, I apologize to my audience for having her on streams. That is the most annoying voice I have ever heard. I can't believe I didn't see it before. My goodness.
They signed up for a war at home over affordability, over health care, over what's going to happen in the new economy. And that is all being distracted from by these moves. Fair to say?
It's pretty cynical of you to say that U.S. intel is just garbage and, doesn't
No, that's what Trump said.
Accurately.
I never said that. That's what Trump said.
Hang on. Let me see. So there was a comment here. I got news for you, Jeremy. Your voice sucks too. Brian, I appreciate you admitting that you watch me for my looks. However, I'm not gay. Because now you've said my voice is so annoying. So that means the only reason you're watching me is for my looks. I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm not interested. Okay. So,
standing in Helsinki next to Vladimir
You're going to bet your left
I watched it in real time.
You're going to bet your left eye. Okay. This is what you said. That the reason that we're doing the Iran thing is bogus. You think it's bogus? You said it many times.
There was no imminent nuclear threat, and U.S. intelligence shouldn't be blamed. They never told Trump that the regime was weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Never happened. They never said it, and that's why even he...
How does he know? Oh, my God, that face. Well, how does he know this, by the way? How does he know this? That's the face I make whenever I hear Melanie Mack's voice now. I'm just like, what are we doing? Both of these faces is the face you make when you hear Melanie Mack talk. Both of their faces right now. You can use either or. You can swap them out. That's it right there.
Can't have them come forward and lie about it and say, yes, we did. It was imminent.
Well,
that's why they're quiet.
All I can tell you is that the reports that Trump get say that. Now, whether he puts them out publicly, it's up to him. But getting back to Iran.
This is now we're getting into where I wanted this conversation to go, because this is the important thing. So let's set the table here. All right. We are a lot further into this Iran situation than I thought we would be. I am very curious internally what Trump is thinking about this and how he is managing this internally. I know that publicly he is going to project strength and, all of that, but behind the scenes, he's probably got a different approach. And I'm very curious about that. And I think Bill O'Reilly can give a little bit of insight into that.
What's likely to happen there is a military strike within a week. I think he might wait until after Memorial Day. But he can't back down now. Can't back down. Tom Petty once sang it, can't back down. And Cuba You know, do you have to do this now? Is it a diversion? Possible. You know, you didn't have to announce Raul Castro's warrant today. You could have done it 2 weeks from now. But does it hurt Trump to announce that? I don't think so. You do. I don't think it's going to hurt him if he can break Iran. If he doesn't break Iran, Donald Trump's legacy is in trouble. I've said it before.
Oof.
And I said in the very beginning,
listen, and I think that's an honest assessment of the situation. Many people may not remember this. Obviously, I do. But George W. Bush was, and again, I'm not saying Bush and Trump are the same person, not even close. I've already battled against those ridiculous narratives. My point being is that George W. Bush's popularity was insane after 9/11. It was unbelievable. The unity that this country had was unbelievable. Iraq really did destroy his legacy, among other things, but it was really Iraq. And now we're in another Middle East, situation right now that we don't know how we're going to get out of it. I trust Trump to do the right thing. Absolutely, I do. I am just talking about what's at stake here. I have complete faith in President Trump to get this done and get us out of this situation in a timely manner. I thought it would already be done, but it's not. But I have complete faith that he will do just that. But this is what's at stake right now. We got Mark of Reality for $100. I owe you an apology, sir. A very long time ago, I sent a super chat asking you to have Melanie Mack on G&G, and you did. You even said on stream that it was because I asked. I sincerely apologize. I was wrong. You were right, and that is clear now. No, dude, that's so funny. You owe me no apology whatsoever. The bottom line is, I remember when Melanie Mack started to kind of creep into this sphere. I was not overly impressed with her, and it felt like she was moving to a different community because she had been ran out of her old community. That's essentially what it looked like, is like she needed to find somewhere else because she had been ran out of somewhere else. Whatever, though. Who is it? I'm not here to tell people what they can and can't do, and I'm not here to make just a blanket judgment on someone. But that was something that I'd said to many people privately. I was like, this chick just showed up out of nowhere and starts dropping the F word. Like, whatever. Okay. But you know what? Whatever. Maybe I have it wrong. So fully embraced her, had her on streams, had her on Main Event for a while. Had her out to Orlando a couple of times. She hung out with us. She was great, by the way. She was a total sweetheart in person. She hung out with us. We went to parks. We did some vlogs. She was perfectly fine. She was a very nice person. No issues whatsoever. Okay? None. I've never said anything bad about her prior to what happened. But her behavior now makes me look back on when she first came into this sphere. And now what she's doing now is very reminiscent of how she ended up here in the first place. Is she completely used up all of her goodwill in this other, community that she was part of. And then she's done the same thing here now, done the same damn thing. And, it's just, and by the way, essentially she stopped appearing on Main Event because Quartering started paying her. That's really what it was. Because and this is why her and Quartering are good for each other, because they are both interested in transactional relationships. So that's really what it comes down to. She was just like, oh, well, Quartering will pay me and I'll, that's all she cares about. So yeah, that's it. But either way, you don't owe me an apology at all. I owe my audience an apology. This is why I don't like collabing with people that much anymore. That's why. So again, I'm not saying I won't ever collab with people, but there's just too many annoying people on the internet.
Gamble. Got to win it. Got to win it.
Not too fair to Tom Petty, though. Tom Petty's song was about not backing down from somebody trying to push him off what he believed was important. Nobody was pushing Trump on this. he sought this out. This was a war of choice started by him, which is why they played with the idea of whether it were a war or not. And you and I discussed how absurd that was. And we've moved past that phase. But it's going to end in a deal, right? At some point. It's just under the control of a bunch of despotic zealots who are in control of that process, because only we need it to end. The zealots don't want it to end. The Israelis don't want it to end. Only the Americans do.
But why does his teeth look fake? Again, I don't know why everything is a Friends reference, but it's starting to remind me of the episode with Ross where he had those super white teeth. I know you remember that one. Episode he smiled when the lights were off and it just shined through.
There'll be more punishment for the people of Iran if they don't end it. And Trump can't get, there's only one deal. Only one. The inspectors go in. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. But you're dealing with a bunch of crazy zealots who don't care about their people. And President Trump, at least putatively, must care about his people.
Bro, this happens every time. Hang on. Just joined. Oh shit, Bill O'Reilly is still alive. Every time I react to Bill O'Reilly, this comment happens. Wait, Bill O'Reilly's still alive?
Although that's becoming a debatable proposition given what we're watching happen at home. And they're like trying, it's just like remember in the comics, you had Superman, and then they created this mirror image anti-hero of him called Bizarro. And it seems to me that Trump is becoming the Bizarro of Reagan's Superman. That he is creating situations.
Thank you, Gator, for the 10
that,
picks.
or Make America Great Again, which came from Reagan, as you and I both remember. And the domestic agenda, though, is just being destroyed by him. And I don't understand why. Why doesn't he just take on what's happening
I
here?
think he didn't believe that the Iranian situation would spiral like it has. Because he called me up right when they were first going to do this. And he goes, military action or deal? I go, deal if you can get it, because you don't want civilians dead in the dust. And he doesn't.
You were right.
And he doesn't. Okay. And then he said, well, look, I made a campaign promise that they're not going to get nukes. Our intel says they are working feverishly on getting nukes, that the uranium enrichment is going very quickly. And now we have a chance to negate that. And I said, better on a deal, but if you have to use military and you're convinced that's the truth, then you have to use military. And that's where we are.
So it's your fault.
Everything's my fault, Cuomo. You know that. Come on. But you know, you paint a very bleak picture of the domestic situation in the United States. And the stock market was up another 600 points today. And I keep saying that the corporate titans wouldn't be.
I think that one thing we have to realize too is we're in a different world than we've ever been. With social media, with influencers, with all of these people having these different audiences, time and the news cycle moves faster than it's ever moved. And we don't even take time to process something before we've moved on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And like right now, 100% gas prices, the economy, things like that. Like this is a huge issue. When this is resolved, whenever that is, people are going to they're going to forget about this shit. They are going to forget about this as long as things are turned around. But the gas prices, and again, when I say gas prices, that represents so many other things. If gas prices are under control, so many other things will be under control. It really comes down to that. Once that goes down, it's a snowball effect of having all of these other things under control as well. It has to get better, though, in order for these midterms to go in the right direction.
Backing Trump if they didn't believe that he was going to come out on top on all this. Now, it may take a little while, but Trump has run out of, we're going to delay. He doesn't have any more time, pretty much. I understand.
That's interesting.
Tony Montana says, you going to keep glazing? Yeah, I am. Not going to play the whole thing. I just wanted to fuck with him real quick.
There are talks going on right now. He says they're close, but we've heard that word close a lot of times. The American people are going, this is time to put this to bed. They are going.
The oil stocks are very sideways. There's tons of volatility there, even amongst the gamblers within those commodities markets.
Dude, he got so excited he couldn't even spell don't. He got so excited that he just started typing because I acknowledged him. Haters are the biggest fans. He got so excited. He's like, oh my God, Jeremy noticed me. I didn't have to give him money. I'm so special.
The stock market is up.
Big.
We should all understand, because of a handful of AI companies who went with Trump, 4 of the 7 that are driving 80% of the growth in the stock market index. The S&P 500 is motivated by a handful of companies. Half the companies in the S&P 500 are flat or down.
In my
it's
portfolio,
very lopsided.
It's
not Main Street, okay?
It doesn't matter. In my portfolio, I have one AI stock, one. And the portfolio is up very, very big. But the importance of that is the corporations have not bailed on Trump.
I'm sure they won't too, because he has taken very good care of them. It's the workers I'm worried about.
Okay. I'm worried about them too.
You're worried about workers, you piece of shit? Did he really just say that?
Of them. It's the workers I'm worried about.
Okay.
Did this motherfucker, this guy who was responsible for COVID, for lying about COVID, for pretending that he was part of the lockdowns, for pushing all of that fear out there, this guy cares about workers. Are you kidding me? Zero credibility for this clown. Zero.
Okay. I'm worried about them too. And that's why things have to be resolved. They have to. Can't wait.
Well, I agree. I believe that the fight should be at home. I believe that the fight should have been not with China about whether or not they can open the Strait of Hormuz, but how we get production away from Taiwan and why it's here. I don't understand why the Democrats haven't made this their hill to die on.
Because
we're going to be the chip
economy. They don't care about that. That's not. They have no foreign policy.
They may wind up. They may wind up finding this opportunity because it's staring them right in the face.
There's nobody. The Democrats have no foreign policy whatsoever. None.
That's true.
Listen to Schumer. Listen to him read off the words off the page. He doesn't have any foreign policy, and that's what's going to save Trump and the GOP if they can be saved.
That's a good point.
In the midterms.
That's a very good point.
Am I going to vote for a party that has nothing? You got nothing, and that's the advantage.
They have to have something. You're right. They have to have something. And I will again just direct people to history. Ronald Reagan was the beautiful version of Donald Trump. He was an.
He already said that Trump is Bizarro Reagan, which fundamentally misunderstands Bizarro Superman. Like, what are you talking about? And who's Bizarro? Like, what? How get Bizarro Reagan? What are you talking about?
Inspirational figure. He kept saying America was great. Trump has been a reductive opposite of that. But in both sets of midterms, Reagan got walloped after his first and second election for the same reason. Well, maybe we're in a more extreme time and an angrier time, but we'll see. And I will be discussing it with you all.
All right. Well, there's listen, I do like Bill O'Reilly. I genuinely find him entertaining and his perspective entertaining. It gets a little muddy when he's got retarded Cuomo on there. I'm sure he has some deal or whatever with News Nation to appear, but you know, he is very annoying. Cuomo is the reason Pop-Tarts need instructions on the box. Thank you, Graftar's Hammer. We got River Miles as Jeremy and Jeremy collab. I've never seen them both streaming. Always one or the other. Are they the same person? Dun, dun, dun. That is a very, very interesting question that you bring up, River Miles. Thank you, River Miles. Forrest Bound Tree says, your philosophy on not collaborating with guests on here made much more sense after Camelot came on and lied, misspoke, whatever, after Chrissy streamed. Glad he owned it, but damn. Yeah, that was me. Like, again, that was 100% a mistake on my part to bring Camelot on during all of that. Listen, I don't really know what he was thinking with saying that. Like, I guess inventing a conversation that never happened in private, but yet talking about it publicly, even though it never actually happened. Very weird. You know, and there's like a pattern there, you know, with like getting involved in the Rekieta thing, getting involved in the, you know, the quartering and the Chrissy thing, and there's some other stuff that's been said. So whatever. I'm glad he owned it, but I don't really understand how you even end up in that position to begin with. I really don't. I don't understand that. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If a conversation didn't happen privately, why would you say that it happened and then make up the parts of that conversation that never happened? You know? So, but that is on me and no one else. I typically don't bring people on, but in the moment, you know, I saw him in the chat because he follows the channel and everything like that. We've always been friendly. But so I was like, hey, well, he's got some good insight into this. My intention was thinking we had good insight with someone who has been involved in it, but it turns out that it was not a good decision on my part. So the mistake is on me and me alone. So my apologies for the to the chat for that. Miniature Rump Think says, same panicking BS. Trump himself is also dragging it out. It's a battle of attrition. Iran is just now out of oil after all this time. We are now putting the real pressure on the blockade. Thank you, Miniature Rump Think. Look, Trump knows what he's doing. I am not worried about Trump, but the optics are not great for a lot of people that don't pay attention to this stuff. And, you know, he's got it, and I'm sure he's aware of that. And I believe that he will get everything worked out. He is a master negotiator, so he'll get everything worked out. It'll be fine. But I do like to acknowledge where we are, and where we are is not in a good place. It's almost like with, you know, when I talk about entertainment side, like with the Odyssey, I think the Odyssey is going to be fine, but the negativity is brutal right now. And the optics are terrible right now. And Nolan deserves all the criticism he is getting. I have no sympathy for Nolan right now. I think it's a damn abomination what he's done with the casting in this movie. But I also believe that the movie's going to do fine. I don't know if it's going to be like a huge success because the negativity's there and people are upset about it for sure. So we'll just have to see how that all plays out. But he deserves it. And to be fair, there's two ways to look at it. Do I think the movie should fail? I do on principle. Do I believe it will fail? No, I do not. And I do believe that it will be more good than bad. And I believe that a lot of the casting that people are upset about are not going to have any major effect on the story, but it doesn't change the fact that it's symbolic of what he has done. And people are pissed about it, and they have every right to be pissed. It will underperform, it won't fail. That's a very fair assessment, and I won't battle against that. I think that's a fair assessment to say it will underperform, it won't fail. I think when people are out there saying it's going to flop, and people are saying Nolan's never made a good movie, at that point in time, I can't have a conversation with a person like that. I'm like, okay, you're emotionally retarded. Like, stop. Jackson says $1.05. Eheb says, I find it hard to believe that the administration didn't expect Iran to try something with the Strait. It's so much leverage for either side. I'm sure that they did. Minister of Fun says, loud noises. Chad says, I've been out of the loop a lot driving. Have you touched on AOC wanting the North to pull up on the South? I haven't. Not that. I've kind of been catching up as well. So, but I've heard some people talking about it, but I haven't covered it myself. Alex Arrowcave says, Cuomo is gay. MetaPC code 199. Voldemort says, Kino Casino was shitting on Trump last night. I'm never watching them again. Well, their opinion of Trump is irrelevant. Like, and I don't mean that like I'm saying it's irrelevant to what they do as a show. They are not a political show. They are pretty much the most entertaining show on the internet, as far as I'm concerned. But that's not what they do. They're not political. It's not a political show. I don't know what PPP and Worski's opinions on Trump are. And to be honest, I don't care. Kino Casino, like, let me ask you this. Who does Kino Casino, like, name someone that Kino Casino constantly praises? Let's establish that. Who do they praise? Like, they just shit talk everybody. It's what they do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go to Kino Casino to hear them compliment anyone. I go to Kino Casino to watch them roast the living fuck out of retards. And so, but I would imagine I would imagine they probably have some favorable opinions of Trump in certain aspects, and they probably have some really negative opinions on him in other aspects. And I think that's fairly normal. They're not going to be me where they're just going to praise like 90% of what Trump says. But I don't think that judging them based on their opinion of Trump, I think judging them based on what they do, and maybe their type of content isn't for you, but me being a Trump guy, I don't just think that, oh, if this person doesn't like Trump, I can't tell you about him. I don't know what the casino guys' opinions on politics are, and I don't care. Let's see here. The definitive douchebag for $1. That's good. Minister Brown says, why the F would we wait till they're weeks away? Exactly. It makes no sense. Fear the infidel says, wait, what? Bro. Why does this work? This picture. Why does this picture work so well? Oh my goodness. Look at this picture. Oh, from the river to the sea, we will have a deal with Cuomo's douchebaggery. Also, check out Goats Brand Goats, the best personal love device. Holy shit. Ministry of Wrong Things. Ministry of Wrong Things. Holy shit. They're running that JCPOA bullshit. The JCPOA literally had sundown plans for everything built in, i.e. they could fully enrich after 10 years, aka 2025. This crap is pure propaganda. Thank you, Ministry of Wrong Thing. Always on top of things, brother. And that meme did break me. That was really good. MN Stars, is that Minso Stars? I was watching some random guy doing construction update video on Universal Studios Orlando this morning, and he said, but what are the oranges for? If you know, about spit out my coffee. No shit. Can somebody send me this clip? That's amazing. Somebody please send me that clip on Twitter. That's awesome. River Miles says, Cuomo logic. Brother Andrew is the alleged grapey version of myself. Cheaping Baylor says, I don't think you have seen the Oval Office event, but the guy from Alabama, is that a typical Alabama man? Explains a lot. John freaking Murdoch, 450, says pre-Savannah grift tax. Let's freaking go. Thank you, John. Yes, we will be in Savannah tomorrow for the meetup at the 9 Line studio or 9 Line headquarters. I hope you guys will come out there and hang out with. This is going to be a lot of fun. I appreciate it. Also, Gator has been dropping kicks like crazy on Kick. I saw back-to-back hundreds. I saw some 50s. Thank you for the support on Kick. Appreciate it. All right. Then Mark of Reality says, I lived through Reagan. He and Trump were the same president in very different worlds. Cuomo seems like he's never had to crawl under his school desk in a nuke drill, and it shows. Absolutely. Saratoga for 20 says, Twitch banned Destiny and upheld it today, and Destiny implies it's for 6 months. I know Twitch has a bad rep of looking the other way on leftists like Hassan. Is Destiny a different level of insanity? Asman defended him, by the way. Well, I think Asman's going to defend anybody that gets banned, with the exception of people that are doing something super, 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 super extreme. But I don't know a lot about Destiny, so I can't speak to Destiny as a content creator. I mean, I've seen him get people really worked up. So, but I can't speak to it. I don't know exactly what he got banned for. I know he said he is he's got this edgelord mentality sometimes to just say the most downright disgusting thing in the world. So, but I don't know specifically what the ban was for, so I don't know. Let me see here. Phil says, who's the bigger scumbag, Cuomo or Beardo? It's a tough question right there. Tough one. Linko Ganobi says, looking forward to Savannah meetup, and made my review of Mando and Grogu on YouTube. Rumble and Criticalist. This is meant for streaming. Jeremy, send me the Anna Paulina Luna video. See you in Savannah. I think I downloaded that video for research purposes. So just I had to go back in my history and find it. I'm sure some of the mods have it. They can drop it in the chat. It's a good video, really educational. Cindy Biscuit says, just woke up to the news about Kyle Busch, praying for him and his family. Yeah, my head's still spinning from this, man. I don't even understand. I saw Formula One, put their condolences out. Man, I just don't get it, man. My head is spinning over this one. Kyle Busch dead at 41 years old. That is just insane to comprehend, man. Awful. Awful. Anyway, the definitive douchebag for a thumbs up. Jay Shack says, wait, you're not gay. While unsubbing now, Lamal. Hill Ref says, YouTube is NWO black and white. Rumble is red and black. Kick is the LWO. Mod Eric says, Cuomo knows more about government or even Iran. Yeah, he knows everything. Jay Fraser says, Hell to 199. Jeremy, I recommended Razor Fist's newest video for Cobraville. He goes off on Massey's loss, never Trumpers, and whatever favor or fig Beardo is. Thank you, Jay Frazier. Appreciate it. Jackson says, hail the fellowship. Hail the fellowship. Thank you, Jackson, for the 20. Scully in the house says, hail chat. Hope all is well with everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, programming note, I don't think I'm going to be live tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. I don't think I'm going to be live. Because we have the meetup and everything, and then I'm traveling back. If I get back really late, I might, but I will be live on Saturday. So I can't promise a stream tomorrow. But then traveling is all behind me for the foreseeable future. Minister Front thinks it's just to clear my name. I never asked Jeremy to have Beardo on G&G. This is a good thing to clear your name of, because that's a big problem. Vault 199 Gaming says, when the 24-hour day, 7-day, or Tuesday night's main event stream starts like 24-hour FNT. I don't know if we'll do that. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm open to it if people want it. Mark of Reality says, did that chucklehead just make a comic book reference and spread more lies about the Gipper? Yep, he did. That's what he does. Baby says, MAGA will never die. Shout out to Anna Paulina Luna's ace. Good stuff. Radioactive Actual says, Trump, Bizarro Reagan. Who's Bizarro Trump? Exactly. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Grapthar Hammer says, Iran has been extremely successful in distracting from breaking Guthrie. BC Man says, I didn't do nothing. Tony Montana 2026. Nightcall says, Cuomo equals Guido fist pumping with TDS. Logan says, I love the quartering crash so effing much. Mad Frog says, BVS or Mando and Grogu. Batman versus Superman or Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm going to take BVS. I'll take BVS. Yeah. Give me BVS over this dog shit. Grumpy Gen Xer says, is FNT on tomorrow at the same time? It should be the same time. It should be. Steelstorm Gaming says, Beardo Sama. Slain Hope says, we don't get gas from Iran. Fuel prices are BS. Piano Dean says, hi, Jeremy. My veterinarian taught me a trick. If your dog's brain feels dry, he's sick. Hashtag you're welcome. Wasn't that nice? Thank you, Piano Dean. Rob says, agree, Jeremy. Come on, Rumble. I'm way behind. And what the F is Kick? Kick is a streaming platform much like Twitch, but doesn't have the same rules as Twitch. Kind of operates the same way. And whether you're, again, I want you to watch me where you want to watch me. So Mod Eric says, breaking NASCAR icon Kyle Busch, a two-time series champion, has died at age 41. Yep. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. I'm still completely shocked by it. Completely. But yes, there's the Rumble chat, and there's the Kick chat right there, and there's the YouTube chat right there. So I appreciate y'all. And Gator sent 3 more $100 kicks, or 100 kicks. I'm not sure what 100 kicks is. I'll get all that figured out. But yeah, man, big support over on Rumble, Kick, and YouTube today. So thank you all so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so this was going to be a little bit shorter show because I have to get ready because I am heading to Savannah tonight. It's going to be a long drive, and I'll get in very late. But we do have the meetup tomorrow. If you have not RSVP for the meetup, you should. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will have my video up on Geeks and Gamers here pretty quickly for Mandalorian and Grogu review. And talking about that. So make sure you go to Geeks and Gamers main YouTube channel and check that out. Crazy Clown Town says Mando and Grok, I like he said Grok versus Snake Eyes, the Snake Eyes movie, Mandalorian and Grogu over the Snake Eyes movie. 100%. No more flying. No time soon anyway. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate the support. I will see you Saturday for more CobraCast. And, hopefully I'll see a lot of you out at the 9 Line meetup tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Have a great evening, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.